Great. Welcome to our way live shows. I hope you can hear me well, you can see me well, and I'm so delighted here today to be with you. And it's a holiday. Most of you, I'm sure, you're more relaxing because it's from COVID-19 quarantine time, and now you're also having holidays. Yes, and I'm here with my guest that I had announced much earlier. It's about us single women. How are we coping with the COVID-19? And my guest, I can see she's already here, happy to join me, and I can hope you can hear me well. We have a chat. Feel free to write to us whether you can hear us, if you have questions. And I wish you also happy Labor holidays. It is holidays right now. And my name is Joy Tense, and I'm the founder of African Women in Europe, coming to you live from Germany. And honored here to have another powerful lady. As you can see, she's coming up there on the screen for you guys. And yes, I love the energy of African women, especially here in Europe. She's also in Germany like me, and we are always trying to get as much as possible networking platform. And she's another great networker, and she's gonna tell you more about it. And she's called Dental Mame, and she's gonna give you a little bit information who she is, what she's been doing for the past time, and then we hit to our topic of today: how single moms are coping in during COVID-19. So go ahead, introduce yourself, Mame.
Thank you so much, Joy. My name is Mame Denta. The name of my community is African Mummies in Deutschland, but I blog a lot under my African Mummy in Deutschland Facebook, YouTube page, Facebook page, and my website. So basically what we've been doing is trying to provide information for African women in Germany, provide as much, share experiences, network, talk about our lives, our struggles, everything else.
Yes, great, fantastic, and you look beautiful there, and I love it. yeah, the way
thank you very much
joining here, and thank you for those ones who had time to come here to join us. Leave us a chat and tell us where you're watching from, and also join our discussion is about how, as African women, especially the single women, and we are both of us in the same direction of single women, coming out from marriagehood to single women, and now we are at home on our own with our children. And this is the topic for today: how are we coping during COVID-19? Because as you know, single women have a lot to do right now. So anybody who's joining us in this discussion today, and maybe let's get to first of all to the topic, especially single women. And this is a topic I find some people find it very sensitive. They don't want to talk about it. I've tried to bring it out all the time, and my members or people really are so reserved. What do you think about the idea of being a single woman?
There's a lot of stigma attached to being like a single mom still in our communities. Like, oh, you didn't put in the effort to make your marriage work, or you did something wrong, like, so people don't want to have that whole single mother thing going on. But it's a fact. Actually, there are lots of people who are actually married, but when you look at it technically, they're still single moms. They're still doing everything that we single moms are doing. So I don't know why there's so much stigma to it, but the more we talk about it, it's not, I think initially as well, because I was brought up in this culture, I was very uncomfortable, but it's a fact. If it happens to you, it happens, and then you just go ahead and deal with it and then work on what you need to work on.
That's a very strong topic, actually, then the way you just said it. It's a stigma in the community. People don't want to talk about it. And also even ourselves, you find yourself in a situation you never planned in your life. And I always feel that there's so many things that we in life, we are taught about having a perfect family. This is something that is brought up in the house, that you have to be, it's a life like being born, growing up, getting a husband, getting married, and then dying, and then nobody talks about when things get crossed.
When things go wrong. Yeah, nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about what happens when things go wrong, or if things go wrong, or how you are supposed to cope with that. Nobody talks about stuff like that. So that's quite worrying.
Yes.
But, and nobody talks, because I was telling my friend the other day, my mom had been married to my dad till he died, and then most of the people around me were married, are still married. So I was like, it never occurred to me that divorce is a thing that happens to people, or like single mom, because I never really saw a single mom in my community. So I really, growing up, so it was only families. So it didn't really occur to me that, marriage, Patience is online. Hi, Patience. She does amazing live videos as well. Are you interviewing her next?
Probably. I've not met her yet, but definitely I'm going to find out who she is.
Yeah, so like I was saying, God, please bear with me. I deviate a lot. Yeah, but it never occurred to me that it's something that happens in the community. Like, I was like, no, I don't think, it never occurred to me that divorce can happen, separation can happen, that I would be a single mom, like, doing stuff on my own. It never occurred to me. And when it happens, it takes some time for you to adjust to it. So I think also it's something that we should talk about, that, and normalize in our community that there are different kinds of families. And also, because then when it happens, then you spend so much time trying to readjust yourself and trying to cope and trying to come into terms with it. And then you are dealing with the shame and the stigma and all sorts of things. And then you don't really have time to get on with the process of living, so before you adjust yourself and be like, I don't give this thing, so much time has gone, so definitely it's something that we need to talk about. It's something that we need to normalize, because whether we like it or not, it's something that's happening more than we would like it to happen. So definitely I feel like our community needs to talk about it, and then make it like something that we can all feel more comfortable like. We don't want it to, it's not like, are you pushing and then also the thing is, when you talk about it, they're like, are you pushing the agenda of single mom? Are you a feminist, emancipated, that you don't need a man anymore? That you want everybody to be single mom because you are bitter? You're always talking about it. But no, that's not the issue. The issue is, if we regularize it and we talk about it, then when people find themselves in that situation, it's not a big deal, and then they can get back to the process of living, and life.
Yeah, I like that, because I like also your humor, Denda. Let me just be honest. I love your humor. There's a day we met as well in one of the meetings for our on Saturday. Tomorrow we're having similar. We're looking forward to this.
Yeah, I love it.
You can be who you are, whatever you are, whether single, married, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Challenge that comes, you have to deal with it. I call it, women have to cope. You don't prepare yourself so many things, but you have
to not cope. You have to thrive in your situation. Coping is okay, but thrive, come out of it and really, thrive.
Yes. And normally what I also wanted to know, because for me, I remember when I had to go into single, the word itself, as you mentioned, it's something that a stigma you never expected. So for me, that word was such a heavy word. It was like stamp on my head. Bam, you have a stamp.
Scarlet letter.
And then you go everywhere to apply for jobs. You find this name everywhere written. Are you married?
Align it.
I don't know. And I'm like,
yeah.
Have to do with the lifestyle and what I want to do. You're already stigmatized and put on a box that, but I have to say that being single is something that is a new experience. and gives you a lot of new aspects of doing life differently. That's how I call it. You learn things that you never learn anywhere else. It takes time. And if some of you will be who are going through singlehood, not that you're trying to campaign here for single, but we have to talk about the situation. Every third or fourth one of the person is single. It's a new, especially here in Europe, it's becoming more and more and more. Whatever the reason is, we don't understand. And I remember taking a course myself because I've been brought up in a Christian family. So you can imagine going home and saying you're single. It's we are divorced and all that stuff. It's something like you don't use those words, But then I had to go back to learning how does it mean to be single, especially with your mother? And I'm actually impressed with Germany, especially if you go to, they have Jugend, I think the Jugend app or something like that. They do have courses where they train you how to cope with a new situation, because it's not written anywhere about marriage everywhere. So you can go train yourself how to cope with it and what it means now, what you have to adjust with, how to cope with your children. And because also for them, it's a shock, and you're also in a shock as well. So this training was quite good for me to understand where am I heading to, because I had nobody to ask or to know who is the single.
I think for you, haven't been in there for a longer period, it probably was much more being married for a longer period. I wasn't married as long as that. So for me, the adjustment was a little bit easier. I think it's also good to mention that as well, that there's training available for people coping, going through divorce, and then also with AVO. AVO Jungenam does that. AVO does that as well. I think Diakonie also does that. I'm not sure, but AVO I know does that.
Yes, there's a lot of things that people can learn from that. Thank you for those who are listening to us. It's about COVID-19, how are we coping, and also talking about single women, how they're doing. And I can see some of you have written quite interesting stuff there. I'm going to be putting up slowly as we go on. Great discussions. Thank you for your input. And somebody else is watching from Berlin there. Let me see if I can show that as well. Watching from, no one plans to become single mom, but when it happens, we must accept it, adjust, and go on. They are just titles. It doesn't define who a person is. That's very good. I'm a proud single mom. Well, it doesn't define who you are. Definitely, this is something that you have to remember as a single mom as well. And somebody else is saying there, I can purely relate with that. Patience, thank you for that, for sharing with that. The situation comes and it changes. Somebody else there is sharing as well. Good morning to those strong, independent single mother. You rock, both rock. It's unfortunate that society has always looked up to us as vulnerable families, but families in Germany championed by you, Mom. You see your hero, one of them, are challenging this status quo, and it's a matter. It doesn't matter if we are single by choice or circumstance, like you said. We are up to the task, and I encourage us all to stand tall for our children. Thank you so much. That was a very detailed explanation there, Mama. You are leading with that. Maybe you can tell us, that our listeners who are listening, what is your African mummies in Deutschland? And some of you go to Facebook. I think you also have a website, right?
Yeah, I have a website where I talk about life in Germany, just little thing, because Germany is also a culture shock thing for me still. Like, oh, you've been there for so long. Haven't you completely adjusted? No, I'm still adjusting. However, African Mommy just talks about my different experiences in Germany. Then I'm back on YouTube. I'm obsessed with cleaning and organization videos, so I'm doing that and then talking about stuff. I'm actually doing the next video talking about my divorce story. So yeah, I will link that. But then basically that's the African Mommy in Deutschland. And then we are at the African Mummies in Deutschland. We're a Facebook support group. And it's amazing. We are almost 3,000, we're 3,000 plus, and women from every part of Africa, and women who also identify as Africans, like have African heritage from South America and all that. So we're in the group and we're talking about our life experiences here in Germany. We're asking questions. We're looking for information. We have anonymous posts where you can post anonymously with your problems. We have meetups, we have training sessions. Yes, and it's a no judgment zone, very well moderated. Thank you, my admin and moderators. And we talk about everything to do with our lives here in Germany. So far, so good. It's really been doing well. And our goal is to have all African women in Germany in the group. Unless you misbehave, then we kick you out. But then in general, all African mummies.
Yeah, rules and regulations as well. Thank you, thank you. I'm trying to write here.
Yeah.
I'm writing here so that people can listen, can find you as well.
Oh, thank you. So then should I go on with how single moms are coping during COVID-19?
Yes, let me go ahead with that 1 second, and then we can go to the topic for today, because we want to know how a mommy is coping now during COVID-19. It's a lot going on right now. So that's where you can find, I think that's African Mommy, Africa or African Mummies in Deutschland.
African Mummies. It's an IES.
Oh, with the IES. Okay. I'm going to edit that one for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening right now, we are really happy for you to join us now. If you have a question, topic, bring it along. We are happy to hear from you. And as well, I've said I'm from African Women in Europe, where we connect women from different directions. But today's topic is how a mommy copies with the COVID-19. Now you're at home, as especially you as a mom. I'm just wondering, how are you coping, especially financially challenges?
I mean,
get help as well.
Yeah, I mean, in the initial stages, as it was really hard because all the offices started closing. So single moms are really struggling because all the offices started closing. And then if you're a single mom here in Germany, maybe you don't speak the language, so you always need someone to go and translate for you. You need help filling the forms. This is a situation where there's social distancing, so people can come to you, or you can go to the offices to express yourself, and you have to write emails and stuff, and everything is now shifted online. So it's a big problem for moms. So initially we were really overwhelmed in our group because there was a lot of filling of antrax. We were having admins assisting with filling of forms, filling of applications, making phone calls, trying to get even through to the offices online. Then we also had a lot of single mothers who had lost their jobs. And then we have a lot of mothers in the front line who had to go to work, and they had to arrange childcare, and then they had to make sure that everything was okay. So it's really been tough on single moms. And then also practicing self-care, especially, if you're married, then you have someone looking at you and like, girl, you need to change those clothes, But when you're single, you're your own boss, and then you can go with your pajamas for days, and then so there are so many challenges that single moms initially started struggling with. And then especially you find yourself, especially if you're a single mom, you like to keep busy, you find yourself at home with your kid and everything, and then you have a situation where everybody was worried about the economy and about their financial situation and everything. So it was really, really difficult. And then we have situations where people were also in domestic violence situations, and then they were at home with their abuser. So it was really terrible for a lot of moms in general and single moms as well. So what we immediately, we're so lucky that we're in Germany, and the government launched a lot of stuff to help people. So now if you need to get to any office, you can check online what's going on there. You can check online the phone calls. You can call online. If you are part of the African Mommy group, you can reach out to me or any of the admins to get help, as in there are some calls you can't make, or there's some emails that you need translated, or some information that you need. You can reach out to us, the admins. That's what we put in place for our moms. And then also we had a situation where people were offering help, which was amazing. We had someone offering a good shine, because this time was really difficult for a lot of people. There were people who were looking for jobs, before we entered into the COVID situation, and then they were also struggling as well, because now they can go out to interviews. Interviews were canceled. So this has been a very, very difficult time for moms in general, and for single moms as well. You also have to think about what you would do in an emergency situation with your child. Like if if you had to go into the hospital, like what did you need to put in place with your child? And then you have a situation where you are cash strapped and you don't want people were hoarding stuff, and then you go into the shops and everything was gone, and then you don't have the money to stockpile buy like other people. So it was super difficult for a lot of single moms during the time. It's still super difficult. Things are getting better, but in general, you go to the shops, things are available. You go, things are opening up gradually. So this interview could not have come at a better time. Things are opening up gradually. I think from 3rd of May, salons and barbershops will be opened. And then we're still waiting to see when the schools will open and then when the offices will open. But I think in general, single moms are so resilient and they've adjusted with the process, and then it's really been great.
Yes, yes, I like that when you say that the single women are resilient, yeah, and it's a very important thing to do, even in business, to be resilient. So something comes up, you have to kick back and go back to your normal as soon as possible. You're responsible. Most of the single moms, they have children, 1 or 2 or 4. It's quite a lot, and I love the idea that the women also in your group are supporting each other, as you say. They can call your group, they can ask questions. Especially if you're in Germany, the language is an issue for so many people. That the paperwork, the processes, and
the processes.
Yes,
overwhelming. Yeah.
Yes, and this is what I find it quite interesting, because you also have a team as well doing this part, who are also either specialists in this kind of line where people can really get support, and also the idea of what we are now going to be facing as well. Although I find single women probably, as you said, very resilient, is the mental health, which is gonna be affected quite a lot. But I have being in the situation of a single mom, I think the idea that you have a responsible of children, it makes you not dive too much into the depression. I don't know about what you think about it in general, according to the women you've been with, because you have this task of performing resilience. You have to be perfect. You have to get the things right. So you have to do this and that. So what I find out is more burnout, which is also part of depression, probably burnout, because you have exhausted your energy, your levels of energy are exhausted. But what do you think about that?
For me, I've also faced depression as well. And what I've come to know is that it comes in different forms. You can be a functioning depressive person where you're there for your child, you're feeding your child, you're clothing your child, but you're just doing the basic on the line to be able to survive, to be able to get through the day. You're not thriving, you're not moving forward, you're just doing what it is on the line to move forward. So that's even the worst part, like a functioning depressive person, because most people see you and they see, okay, your child is well fed and clothed and everything, but they don't know what's going on behind those doors, and those people don't seek for help. They're just basically getting up every day, and then they have their letters piling up, they have debts piling up, they're just waking up, feeding their children, and then sitting in front of the TV or something, or not even doing anything to move their life forward. So there are different ways, there are different forms of depression and that can take over, especially during this time. So I feel like, in as much as single moms thrive and then they still do the stuff, you can still do the stuff, the basic for your child, and still be very depressed, and that's not a life, that's not living. And then you have a situation where they're doing everything and then they get burnt out, or you have a situation where people completely break down and then they just can't do this. They're seriously depressed. So I think also the imagery of depression is also some funny way, because people think that, oh, you're just lying down in bed, not doing anything, maybe allowing the child to starve is when you're depressed. No, you can be a functioning depressed person where you get up, you do, like, outside you look okay, but when people come inside your home or come inside your life, they realize that no, it's very, very, very terrible. So yes, so there are different types of depression when it comes to that, and which is really, I think later on we're going to talk about if you're suffering from depression at this time.
Before I get to that point, because I'm just saying some of the topics we covered as we were going on. So, and I want to recognize some few people who are joining here. Oh, poor lady, she's in States. It's 3 in the a.m. Wow, thank you for joining us regardless of the time. Thank you for that. And I can see some people watching also from Kenya. So we are addressing more people here, not only in the continent here in Europe. We are also having people from US. We also have somebody else from UK here. Thank you for joining us. Let us know where you're listening from. And we are very happy to hear from you. Somebody else also from UK there. And where are my German people? Oh, their patient was already.
Where are my African mommies? Comment. We would like to know.
Let us where you're listening.
Yeah, we would like to know. Please let us feel your presence. We'd like to see you here.
Yes. You want to talk about one more topic that you wanted to say there, and you can go ahead and talk about it.
No, I was saying that later on we will talk about it, where to get help. But anyway, since we've come there, let's just say it. If you need to get help for depression, there are helplines that you can call, different helplines available that you can call for the situation. And just because COVID is out there doesn't mean that you cannot seek for mental health, so make sure that you don't ignore that. Also, things that help is to try and get a routine, going out, not going out into the streets. No, we said stay at home, but we mean like going out to exercise, going for a walk, still maintaining social distances, but having some kind of routine really helps during this time. Just maintain a routine, especially during this time, even though or else you kind of lose track of the days. So those working at home and everything, try to maintain some sort of routine, and it really helps. I have something that I do. I have a day in the week where I reset my home.
That's very good, because I really wanted you to tell me how your day is looking like during COVID-19 for other people.
Like before when I didn't have to go into work, before it was like wake up in the morning. Initially, it was wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, and then sleep in bed like a beached whale. Then I realized that no, Dee, this is not working for you. It's very dangerous for your life, And then only watch like COVID report. I'll be like, it's coming. The disease. It's on its way. Lord, help us, Then I realized that no, this is not helpful, And then also then there's so much pressure. It's like, oh, when you come out of COVID, you should come out with a hobby. You should come out thriving, going to the gym, having glowing skin, So like the first week I was like, hey, I was initially depressed. Then later on, I went on this rampage where like, I'm going to come out of this thriving, So I was like doing this, all sorts of stuff. And I was like, then after that, and then being extra with the school work and like, we shall overcome, And then it's good to have that. But after some time, it was exhausting because the situation wasn't changing. Remember, it was all the way in March it started. So then after that, then I realized like, okay, wrote myself in and then come into this and then realize, okay, let's have a routine, some sort of routine, some sort of organization. Let's plan for when COVID is over, have a after COVID list. Let's do this, let's do that. So we started with a routine and we eased up on the homeschooling a little bit because I didn't like the person I was becoming. And also, but the good thing about it is I campaigned for some kind of online classes in my daughter's school, so that really worked out for me. And then the when you have someone calling in to do online classes with your kid, you're not going to be walking around in your pants. You're going to come and put yourself together and say hello to the teacher. So that also helps. So we have the routine now. We have our routine down pat. And then I also started a YouTube hobby. So I record, it forces me to do activities around the house and activities in life. So that's my routine. I will encourage people to have some sort of routine. Routine really helps with depression and everything in general.
Yes, yes, and I like the way you're saying it, because I'm just looking at myself, how I've been doing my daily stuff now. On the other side now, because I'm working from home, and it's since I've lost like weeks now. I think you're going to the 8th week or something, and it starts, how my day starts is like it. I wake up still early, around 6, 7, because I know I have to get to my job at around, my working starts at 8:30. So I didn't change that. Whether I'm at home now, I don't want to start
You
earlier.
didn't change that, yeah?
Yeah, at 8:30. I do in my bed, very cozy, because at that time, honestly, I'm a bed person. I mean, my brain really works best in my morning hours. You heard me
Yeah,
say
me too. I'm a morning person. Like, if you catch me after 12, I'm not making sense. Like 12
no.
in the
So like
afternoon.
today, I had to be
I'm a
here at
morning
10. This distracted a lot of but
I'm like,
anyway,
after
so
10, I
I
do
wake
12, I
up
don't make
in the
sense.
morning. I wake up in the morning. I get my coffee. Definitely, the first thing is coffee, because I need to wake up, and then get my. Of course, before coffee, I have to wake up and do my morning breathing in, out, just to make sure that I'm here, and avoid to put a lot of loads in my head. Yeah, but just remember that I need not to sleep back, because it's so easy to go back and sleep. So I wake up, go to the toilet, do the water, the necessary, and then get my coffee and prepare myself a little bit, and then go back to the bed with my computer. So I
I
have to.
actually don't go back to the bed. It's so risky for me. I make the bed.
It's
And
a way
because I'm lazy.
so I start in the morning. So with with my, of course, I check my messages in the morning, because I don't sleep with the gadgets in my room. So they're always in there or in the living room, and I sleep without any gadgets in my room. So my sleep is very beautiful. So when I wake up, I have to go get my mobile, see what is in there. And then I check what I need to update, especially with my social life as from African women in Europe. I need to keep people up, and I get good ideas in the morning. So I put them up also on my page, and I answer messages. And then it's 8:30. I start my work. I take the other computer and do the workload, because most of my meetings are very active in the evening, meetings for face-to-face. And why I still keep it there until 12, until around 11, 12, before my midday lunch. So I've started actually doing sports at 12. So my kids are big, because I don't need to do homework to them. They don't have live videos like you do have. So they have a little bit of emails, and they have to do homeworks and send them by email. So a little bit not the best system like every other higher schools, and I was a little bit disappointed, but I still have to do. So we come here in the morning, they're teenagers, they sleep so long. Oh God. They're at 12, 11, they're still sleeping. So it makes my morning also stress-free. So you go get your breakfast when you're ready. And then we meet here at 12. I do my sports between 12 and 1. And I get a channel on my TV and YouTube, and I do some sports, because I really need to get up. And then I go shower, prepare myself, brush my teeth, and get ready for the afternoon, because I'm more working with the global. So I have more meetings in the afternoon. And then get the boys on the table. Come on, homeworks have to be done now. End of sleeping time and things like that. And then before you know that, it's already evening, and it's really like 5. I have to get to the kitchen to go prepare something to eat, because we eat.
I love that you exercise in the afternoons.
Yes, it's out of my way, and it's also a way to get me showering, and because I don't want to be with a pajama. It's something that makes me do something to go prepare myself. So, and then in the evening, as you notice, you have to cook as well, because we eat warm in the evening. I'm still having the African traditional way. I still eat warm. I cannot eat bread.
Not because I wasn't married to a German, or I cannot do that. No, I need to be heavily fed before I can sleep. I can't do that.
I don't sleep with that empty stomach, but I don't eat immediately. And then in the evening, now they're the work for hour. And I have to say, I have never been so busy online like I have been during COVID-19. Yeah.
Which is true, because everybody's online now. I mean, initially, did you experience that? Because I experienced that initially, like I was having so much web problems, like internet problems. I was so frustrated with my router and everything. But I realized that when I put it in the group, a lot of mommies as well said that they were experiencing that with their internet, because it was fluctuating and it was creating so many problems. Yeah, Carol says she's a morning person. I'm a morning person. Like,
I agree with you.
I'm super aggressive after 12. Like, I don't know. I think my brain goes off immediately. That is like 12. I'm not making sense after 12. Like, if you want me to do my best before 12, so I also wake up super early. Like, before my daughter wakes up, I wake up early. So that's why I sleep very, 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 very early. Because
Yes, it's a routine. You have to get a routine. That's what we're getting into right now. Those people who are joining us. Thank you, Carol, for joining us, and all the mummies. I can see your mummies ladies are up now. They're all here. Germany, well done for waking up early. I hope you're still not in bed. It's what time? It's 10. Wow. I guess people are slowly catching up. Hi, PK. Thanks for joining as well. Yes, and it's all about how we are coping as single moms during COVID-19. As you can hear, you need a routine. Otherwise, it's very hard. And I have to say, as a single mom, you have much more to do. I don't think you have so much free time to do so much.
But then, shout out to the married single moms, because there are some married single moms. There are some people who are married and then their husband is basically their last child. So they're doing everything around their house and also doing the stuff for their spouse and still doing the schoolwork, and some are still even going back to work and stuff like that, but they're still doing it. They're still responsible for everything around the house. So shout out to the married single moms as well, because that's also difficult. And it's also annoying and irritating as well when you have an able-bodied human being who's not doing their part. So yeah.
It's as you said, it's a situation that develop in a family, and we cannot judge what is going on around there. And as Carol said, I am one of those single married.
Carol, don't say that. Did you see what Carol said? Don't say that. It's social media.
You're not. And you're very, very, very supportive. And anyway, the idea here is to make sure that we are not getting out of the track. Single moms who are running around with children and finding out and balancing the life. And there's something else I want to talk about before we finalize, because this chat can go on. You and me, we are
my God, we can talk forever.
Yeah, good talkers. We need to continue this on Saturday. So this single mom discussion, I think, will be the next topic for Saturday, which is tomorrow evening.
Yeah, we'll continue. Yeah.
Check on the Zoom meeting I'll be sharing on my page, where we discuss everything there quietly. Here it's public, so I don't want to create problems in families.
Scandals. They'll be like, those two scandalous.
Those mummies in Deutschland are creating trouble here. But anyway, the idea is we also have single dads, That's what I wanted to mention. It's not just mummies, We also have dads who are single with different situation. Like I can imagine in my situation, especially in Germany, we share children half to half. Yeah, some people don't let their children go to their parents, which I find it not okay, to their father. Whether the argument was between you both, nothing to do with the fatherhood part. So the children should be exposed to their father. That's something that I also campaign quite a lot, that if there is opportunity and a father is happy to relate with the child, it's so important to interact with their father. So my children always go. So like today they are going. So I have a free weekend. And it's such a good time to have those free weekends if you can. I say if you can, because this free time is for you to think of things that you can do with yourself, what you can. I use this time so much. I cannot, and also to get the energy back for the next day and the next week. Initially, this was quite a lot of work for me, from Monday to Monday, running around with children, homework, appointments, this and that. that, and then you have a weekend where you take maximum use of this if the father of your children would like to have the kids. For me, I really campaign for that because the children need that father part or that mother part, if you're a mother, and allow the children to make the decision whether they want to go or not. And for me, it has been something that I wanted to share also here with people who are listening. It's important because that time is called me time. Yeah. That's why, Mame, you asked me, I'm traveling here, I'm traveling there, I'm traveling here. I said, oh my goodness, that's the time I take to go now, visit people, travel, workshops, prepare meetings for the Awe events, and actually sometimes just sit back or maybe go to the sauna and to relax and also try to see whether this family thing can go on to find a new person and get my time with a new relationship. It's working. You know, you have to use those time for that. What do you think about that on your side?
I think, first of all, I think it's important. I mean, shout out to those wonderful fathers that take the responsibility of the weekend and then allow the women to have that personal time and then also spend like quality time with their kids. We're really grateful for wonderful fathers like that. God bless them. If it's safe, and sometimes we think that we're the only ones because we did the whole 9 months thing. We think we're the only ones that know best for our children. But also, if he is a good father, if he regardless of the issues that you've had, if he's a good father and you know that they're going to be safe with them, I encourage you to make sure that you put your issues aside and then try and have good relationship where your kids can go over there. Then to the topic of self-care during this COVID, hi Sonne, during this COVID times, practicing self-care is so important, whether you have the kids with you and then whether you have, sorry, I'll go back to the comments.
You just have whether to have the comments there.
I'm easily distracted. But practicing self-care is so important, whether you have the kids with you or whether you don't have the kids with you. So what are your self-care things? Like for me, for example, I love doing my nails. I can't go to the salon. My nails look really bad. So I don't really want to do them at home. That's a different thing. So I have other self-care things that I'm doing. Like actually my self-care thing is to organize. So that's my thing. I also like to take care of myself, like maybe have a long soak in the bathtub. So everybody, some people have wonderful self-care stuff like read a good book. It can even be binge watching Netflix, although I don't advise it for a long period. But anyway, so
it's addictive. How can you stop watching Netflix?
Yeah.
And now that I like to distract you also with topics that you say with Netflix. Yeah. Now you talked about Netflix and it's triggered me like it's a nice time to get out of these social media sometimes. And they're very nice.
Sometimes it's also a good time to have a social media free time. But self-care, you have to schedule in self-care. Even when the kids are with you, schedule in self-care. In fact, one of the things that really bothers me is the way I let myself go in Germany. I was someone who is a salon girl, a makeup girl, self-care person. So it really bothered me the way I let myself go. So I've been putting it in my planner. Apart from people having the routine and everything, I also have a planner where it's even the mundane things, remembering to shave. That's an act of self-care that people forget, especially when you're single. You're like, nobody's going to be looking down there or in there or anywhere.
Wait a minute, Mame. I don't know. I don't agree with you because I've seen so many single women look much fabulous than.
No, I'm not saying that they do. No, I'm not saying that they don't. No, I'm not saying that they don't. I'm saying that there are certain acts of self-care that you forget when you are single. Like,
I think mine improved when I went.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Me, no, if you're not looking at the thing, it's not gonna be things are not going to happen. So, like I said, please put it in your routine to remember to do those basic things that you would have done when you're with your spouse or when you're dating as a single mom. Please remember those. Take care of yourself. Schedule them. Put them in your routine. Please just schedule them. Like I'm just saying, like, basic things like that you will forget, especially sometimes when you have put on weight and then like you can't even see the place. So please, I beg you, little Joy wants to laugh.
No, but I like the pointing. I like, the directness. You guys had. I'm not going to repeat those words.
Yeah. So just like she can't even. Yeah, but anyway, like I said, please schedule self-care. You know what I'm talking about. You guys know me. You know me. I say like it is. Schedule self-care. Even when you have the kids.
You do a lot of the women are like you. I also see you do a lot of makeup. Anyway, you can see like the way we also a little bit of effort to do something on your face as a single. Go ahead.
Tell us. And this is also the thing as well. We shouldn't pressure ourselves on social media. Don't let anybody pressure or intimidate you. Like, I'm so grateful now that I'm on YouTube a lot. So I get to get up, and I'm not showing you my raw face on YouTube. No, because my mom might be watching and then she'll call me and cancel me. So I don't need that. So I will not be showing you my raw face on YouTube. So I'll put some makeup on. So, try and get yourself also try and get yourself in a situation where you have to do something for yourself. Like in me, for me in particular, I found it very, very difficult to do makeup or take care of myself or wake up in the morning and do something. So putting myself in, and when I come on live videos, oh, mommy, you're so vibrant and everything. But actually, I'm an introvert. When I go, it takes me some time to actually go back to normal. But what I wanted to say is that put yourself in situations where you have to show face. If you are social distancing and everything, you're not seeing people physically. So you're not taking care of yourself, so put yourself in situations where you see yourself and you have to get up and then do something about yourself and your face and everything. Yeah.
I love the discussions today. We're gonna hit I don't know one very soon, but I want to recognize some comments I've seen. I've been skipping them. I need to give them the attention. And somebody, I'll go a bit harder because there were some very great discussions about somebody else who had said there, let's see, Freda, I'm also single mom, have to do all at home, go to work and learn for my exams for the next month.
Yes. I know that lots of people who are doing their Ausbildung, they're learning, and then they're even going back to school now, because those who have final exams are going back to school and everything. It's terrible.
And I actually enrolled myself to a course. Oh my God, I still have to log in and start my classes. Long time I did long night. I'm starting, I decided, everybody's saying you have to start something new when you're at home. Then I said, you know what? Get that course. So I'm doing project management diploma online. Wish me good luck. So, and all the whole.
That's the thing. That's so important. Like this project management, that's so good. Yeah.
Yes, somebody else is here saying hi to voice, and he looked. Sorry,
Carla.
To
save you. We can't save you. Oh my God.
I have to sort it out for you. It's a garlic.
An important question.
I'm interested to know how some single mothers do co-parenting during this COVID-19.
Oh, can you take that?
Yes, I had just mentioned about that. And if you have any question, yes, now it's the time to throw them in there, then we can answer you. And I am one of the single parents, as you can say. I've been single parent for, oh my God, how many years? 8 going 9 years now. So, and how do we do the co-parenting, especially, I don't know where you are in. If you're in Germany, there's a standardized way of doing it, and it's already regulated. I forgot the name, how it used to be, because these are 8 years ago. I can't remember how it was. It's Dusseldorf something. Dusseldorf. Tabelle, where it says how you can. There's different way of doing it. Some people do it during the week, which I found it very distractive. So I prefer following up schoolwork from Monday to Friday, and then we have weekends. We swap weekends, and all the holidays are shared because I'm also working. So we have all our holidays, and Germany have so many holidays. Oh my God, I counted them, 16 weeks. As a single mom, that is a lot. You cannot get holiday for 16 weeks. You need to
No,
go
you
for
can't.
co-parenting, and because it's gonna cost you also a lot of money. And you can share half. That's what we do. So we have sometimes, like, especially the Christmas time is a very. Sometimes I have children Christmas. I have to accept, and sometimes I don't have children during Christmas. But it's some
Yeah,
things
but
you have.
like with this, sorry, but with this COVID time, like where you don't know where your spouse has been and stuff like that, and you have to send the children there, do you guys set different rules for this COVID situation, or where you
Well,
have a situation where the spouse
I was
is
expecting that to come out, but for now we're still doing the co-parenting still. So I've not seen anywhere regulation where you shouldn't do, because at the end of the day, they're
no, no,
family.
no, no, no. I'm saying like you personally, like personally, would you advise, like they set different rules, like, okay, please, can you do this? Can you not take the kids here with you when you're going? Um, set rules for each other concerning co-parenting during this COVID times. Like, okay, can you not go here with the kids? Can you not do this? Can you do this? Can you make sure
No,
the
but
kids are
I
washing
don't know.
their
I've
hands
not
and stuff
checked
like
on
that?
that, because I'm sure those details the government maybe are dealing with more useful stuff. There is
No, not
nowhere.
the government, like individually, the
Okay,
parents.
no. The same
No,
things.
do you set
Everybody
different
has
rules
their
for
rules.
each other?
No, in the moment, everybody have their rules, and my kids are older, so they're not like small
Yeah.
kids. So
I think
they
it will be difficult for other single moms when you can't really communicate and you try to put some certain structures in place that, okay, even if you're working over the weekends, please don't go and leave the
But
child here and stuff like
the
that.
very important thing that you have to know with co-parenting is that you have your rules and your co-parent has their own rules. You don't mix them, or you don't try to control what the other one does. That will just be just war in the house. So just pack the kids, go, close that chapter, think about yourself, and pray God.
Even when you have a situation where you feel like the person is not maintaining the right social distancing protocol and everything, how do you do that? This is not like in general for single moms who are asking. If, for
Yeah.
example, you have a situation where the person is not maintaining the right social distancing protocols and not taking the care
Well,
and
this
everything,
is what
how
you
do
have
you
to
do
bring
something
it
like that?
to the Jugendamt. That's what you would have to do, because you cannot delete yourself. So you have to bring it forward to the Jugendamt, I believe so, and then this has to be taken forward. How to do it? It's a process, and probably by the time an action is taken is after when COVID-19 is finished. Because right now you have to trust, and the children can also tell you. At the end of the day, you know the rules. When they're over 12, they can decide what they want, right? But I still encourage it until now, that in our side it works. So each person is quite completely different. So I will not go that, like, can be another topic for another day.
Another
So
day.
let's see who
Yeah,
else. It can be how serious. So let's see, how do you overcome it, the virus? I didn't understand that. Maybe you can write it again, what you mean. How do you overcome it, the virus? Because there's no way of overcome it. You either try to protect yourself as much as possible, and as a single mom, keep all the rules, wash your hands, put the masks where you're supposed to put it. And once you have the virus, it's not a death threat as everybody else is dying. You make sure that you consult your doctor, follow the rules, and also what I'm also finding out that you can also do at home, and it's something like us African, especially those people, single moms who are at home with children, please get your vitamin D. Because one of the lady actually got COVID-19, and she was also in our hangout meeting. She said the doctor prescribed her vitamin D. That's what helped her to
Yeah,
get
I've been preaching the gospel of vitamin D, especially when I discovered it. It was like, for me, I've been preaching that gospel because honestly, it was a life changer for me. I didn't realize the part that vitamin D plays when it comes to seasonal depression. I didn't know what it does when it comes to also regulating your sugar intake. Then your iron intake. So then if you don't have it, then you always feel tired, you always feel depressed. So I've been preaching the gospel of vitamin D forever. So yeah.
Yes. there's some there, and of course your vitamin C as well. You need it. Why we are instead of vitamin D? Because as African, we are the most hit because our skin doesn't absorb a lot of vitamin. Even if you go to the sun a whole day and sit there, it doesn't mean you'll get the vitamin. You need to have it externally added in. So you can have it liquid, you can have it tablets, but I think I would advise more liquid. So it's a small droplets. I also give my kids. I will be putting YouTube one day.
I do.
I'll be sharing with you on my YouTube that my dear mama pushed me into. Now I have a YouTube channel that we'll be going to right now. Before I get to that point, let me see if I've gone through all the points. That is the point. I can understand that. So there's somebody else here saying, I'm so proud of you guys. You're doing an amazing job, but I have a question. Where are you guys ready to date again? When?
Joy, you start, then I'll continue from there.
My goodness. My list is that big. It was that big. It went that big. It goes down. So dating is always welcome, but the right person has to be fit in my world. I'm not going to adjust to somebody else's life. I made that mistake. So I have the person coming has to fit into my life. If you get what I mean. So whenever that happens, it will work out. But until now, I'm just working on myself with my children as well. So that's me. What about you, Denta?
Well, I've worked on myself. I had issues that I didn't realize. I was a people pleaser. I had boundary issues and everything. So I have worked on myself happily. But the thing is, I've come to realize that I'm a very, very happy single person.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to say it so loud.
Yeah, like I'm just, like first, I just when I started working on myself, I came into some certain realization that, look, my dear, I can cook. I don't like cooking. So I don't want a man who wants me to be like a 24/7 cook. So no, so I started realizing certain things about myself. And now I'm just so comfortable being where I am that I don't know. I think I don't know. I think I'll be a difficult person to date. Really, I don't know. I don't have any excuse because the African mommies, they're worried for me. Like anytime we talk about a topic about singlehood, they're like, they send me a message like hooking me up. I have a brother, or I have a friend, and they always like, and I'll be like, oh yeah, like, no, you have to go back in and date, and then I'll speak to the person for 2 minutes, and then I'll come up with an excuse. Not that they're really nice and everything, but I'm like, yeah.
Let's go to the next question. That was a good one, but as we said, sometimes you can be comfortable with the
too comfortable. Too comfortable.
So that one I think I mentioned, I also answered already. There's another one here. Children need both parents. I always say children need parents, not couples. I'm using this time a smooth relationship between the father of my girls and our girls. They are always challenged with generational conflicts between their father is a typical African dad. Nevertheless, I encourage all mothers to know that the fathers are unconditional parents. Exactly. Whoever they are.
So like me and my ex-husband, our parenting ways are so different. So I was like, mommy, for your mental health, don't even look at the messages that I just gave them a different phone. Like, so they do a lot of FaceTime and chatting. I'm like, you just stay in your room and then talk to your father, because some of these conversations, when I hear, I just want to say, huh? What are you talking about? Because I've really adjusted myself in my parents.
I'm always kicked out. I'm not allowed to listen. So
no, I don't even.
Well, so you have to respect that space. That's why we said you keep those two separate. There is you with your children, and there is you. There's the children and the father, and there is you and your relationship. So they're like three buckets. You have to always know where you are and how to behave.
How to behave. Yeah.
Okay, there's an awareness is being infected with COVID-19, like I was, and trying to see that things go ahead, knowing you still have to learn and get where to get back to help the parents at my work who are all infected. So I hope you didn't also have children, or you're also not a single parent, because
I can imagine.
this can also be a nightmare, and it has always been my nightmare as well, because most of us single parents, we tend to be alone, and it's like I have to say yeah, in Europe you don't have your mother, your father, you can rush the kids quickly. It's like you are not supposed to get sick, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a feeling you get, but you are human. You can get sick. That's why you have to build your network with other women.
Build your network, and I'm sorry, but I'm super aggressive on the social distancing thing. The way I'm aggressive, you will be shocked, because I realize that look, there are some people who are refusing to social distance, and I'm like, as a single mom, I can't afford to get sick. Where am I going to put my child? You know, in my situation, my ex-husband doesn't live in the same city as I live, so it's going to be a problem. So I urge single mothers to be super aggressive with the social distances and the precautions. And like Frida said, I can imagine how difficult it was for her as a mom, being affected and then having to distance in the home. You know, we have to also shout out and recognize all our frontline single moms and all our frontline moms in general, who are infected with COVID, or who were infected with COVID and they were trying to self-isolate, at the same time take care of themselves. Just what I'm talking about. Obima just said, what about a single mom being affected with COVID, or one of the children affected? It's a disaster, yeah. Also, you know, in Germany, Jugendamt has, if you're a single mom and you're in an emergency situation, they have a Notfallmutter. You know what I did as well when the situation, I wrote like an emergency plan. If anything should happen to me, who my daughter should go to, the numbers and everything, I put that out there. So I had an emergency plan. I had the emergency numbers. But if you don't have that, in Germany here, they can provide a Notfallmutter for your child, to take care of your child during the period that you're sick. But I would urge all mothers to have structures in place. I also have a WhatsApp group as well for mothers in my area, where we talked about who would be, if anything should happen, we should make sure we know who our child is going to have to go to during that time. And then also, you know, if you are,
go ahead.
And then also, if you're infected, of course, your child will have to be tested and isolated, you know, so that's also a big problem. So there are structures in place for that. The Jugendamt provides all that structures, but it would be really sad. It would be very terrible. And I urge mothers to have that discussion with their children as well. Like, okay, if this is going to happen, this and this is what is going to happen. So this and this is the issue, yeah.
Yes, and that's why it's so important to have communication. I don't know how old the children are, and if they're as old as they are, try to tell them. For me, I used to train them to, you know, if mommy, you know, you can, even not only with COVID-19, I'm talking about in general life, if you would fall down the staircase, yeah, and your kid is so small, you have seen how easy it can happen. The kid, either they would not know how to react. You have to train them to call some numbers. You have to them to run to a neighbor, how to open the door. Just make them that to be secure, that who to run to whenever something happens. And another thing that I also do on your mobiles, you do have emergency, because like someone like me who travel a lot, you know, there is always an emergency button where you put emergency. You can, anyone who would find you unconscious or whatever reasons, nobody knows who you are here in Europe. We don't want to hear that people are looking for you and nobody know who you belong to. Most of the time you find everywhere, do you know these ladies, the officers are looking for the police on the newsletters, you know, you have emergency, you can set on your phone emergency numbers where, for me, I always put my kids, but that doesn't help much to know who's the owner of the phone. But you can also always put your phone yourself and put the emergency number yourself, even your people from back home. You know, I put like my sister, and the other thing I do as well, I have like a paper in my car with it sealed, and it's written who the numbers, who to call, and I have 2 children, take care of them. And if you are smart as well, you also have these stickers you put on your cars that people to know you have children as well. There's so many things that as a single mom you have to think. It's about how life continues. And don't forget to write your will as well. I was talking about this topic as well. What things you have, where they are, and who they are to, because you don't share this with anybody else. You have to start writing your wills and putting them somewhere that is easily accessible, or anything else. Anything can happen. So a single mother is a vulnerable woman or a man. when you're alone. So it shouldn't be a condition that should stay forever. It is the way it is. But I also have this thing, happiness is also real when you're shared, but it's not all the time. But you can also come up with friends who you are together all the time. That
Joy,
you can
I must say,
together.
this is something that I really appreciate for African mommies. Like, also, when I always say that get to know yourself better, when you get to know yourself better, then you can get like the kind of friends. Like, for the first time in my life, I'm having the friends that you see in the movies, the friends who are there for you. They're actually real. They actually exist. Like, friends with emergency. Like, I have those friends, that I can call on in an emergency situation. They can help me. They can, so it's real. When you know yourself, people always complain about fake friends, and all those things. I don't have fake friends anymore because I have a situation where I've worked on myself. I know my boundaries. Immediately my radar goes off when it comes to you. I immediately, distance myself. But I have those real friends. So now if there's an emergency, take time to make real friends. Don't make friends that make you feel comfortable because real friends that you can call on in case of an emergency.
Yes, and that's very important. And I can relate to you as well what you just said, because the African Women in Europe as well, it's an organization that especially why I started African Women in Europe, to make sure that the women are able to connect with each other. So we are already over 13 years, and I can say the same people that I've had, those that are still there today, somebody I can call all the time. They are very fast. Sometimes, I don't know about you, Mame, for me, I find even distant friends are much better than the closer friends, because the relation, you can call them, and also you need also the closer one whenever you need an action. And also don't limit yourself with just only the Africans or whatever. If you're in Durban, bingo yourself also with the people from your area. It's so important because they keep you updated with so much information that you would not.
I wanted to say I'm not only pushing my Facebook group, but then also join Facebook and support groups in your area. I'm so lucky I have really good neighbors. And then also in my area, my purse got missing. I left a note in one of my neighborhood groups. And they're like, oh, if you don't have food, we'll bring you food. And I was like, no, I just want my purse. Like, so like you said, really go out of your way to get people in your area as well. That's also important.
Yeah. So let's go to this topic before because already 1 hour. Oh my God, I let you to go.
We're past 1 hour. Oh, we're bad. Sorry.
Go ahead. You go on with this one. This one for you.
Okay, I should read this. Okay.
Yeah.
I love your self-confidence. You're feeling at home in your skin as a single mom and being willing to discover yourself. I've been married for 22 years and I know how much work there is into it, and it can be nice too, but I get you and respect your views. Keep it up. Hugs from here. Yeah, it's true. I mean, when I was married and it was good, it was good, that my ex-husband, it was quite nice. So when it was like that, it was good. Also, single is good, married is good. Like, let's not put it out there like marriage is such a bad thing. I know there are some people who have had bad marriages and stuff. Marriages, when you have someone who understands you. So when I was married and it was good, it was the time of my life, it was good, but it's like everybody has a season. I was speaking to an amazing lady yesterday. She was like, everybody has their seasons. And then you also have to learn how to be comfortable in your season. If you're a married woman and you're in your season, you're comfortable and you're happy. If you're single and you're in your season, you're happy. If you're divorced and you're in season, like, you just have to be comfortable where you are. But it doesn't mean that the other side is bad. You understand? The married side is not bad. And then the single side, and Jerry, shout out to you. I love you, girl. But then go on. There was someone else saying another thing.
Yeah. I can see somebody. I'm trying to
very nice discussion.
It's so much comments. We are loving your comments. I'm so impressed.
Oh my God, this is such a good point. She said, share your passwords with your children.
Which can then, these words people use, for example, if you're asking somebody to pick your child for the safety of your children, that they know
I have that with my daughter,
who you are. Say when you have young children as well, So this is very important. Somebody has written quite a long one here. It's gonna hide all of us, but let me try to read it. Let me add this to your point, lady. Mindful of the devastating effects of COVID-19 on us, or I think we also have the rare opportunity to reflect on how we can maximize our talent and potential to the fullest. I got to a turning point in my life and decided to change and become the best version of myself. I really want to encourage our mothers here as much as we encourage a challenge with the situation of the new novel virus now. Let's make the best of it by looking at the little things we can embrace. I think that's what you wanted to say. I can't see the rest, but thank you so much for this great discussion as well. So I think I've gone through all, if I'm not wrong.
Great.
And there were so many, some of them probably have not seen them yet. But and yes, I thank you so much all for coming, because this discussion can go on. Maybe we may have to make another.
It can go on and on and on. We will continue on the Saturday thing that you're doing. The Saturday
exactly. We can
continue that.
They are 1 hour. 1 hour. I think it's a long period of but it was a great discussion for all of you there. I think we put a lot of points for you that you can follow up on. You can listen to this video again, share with your friends. Very important, so that it reaches to much more. There are so many single women who are suffering there. They should know they are not alone. And I think a single woman is a very powerful woman. So maybe then, do you have a last?
No, I'm grateful for this opportunity. I hope we've covered all the points that we wanted to cover. But if there's anything else that you want to ask, me and Joy, we're always available. We have like an open door policy, so we're always available for any questions and everything. But I'm so grateful for the platform. I really enjoyed speaking to you.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And I also want to thank all of you who made it today to listen to us. And as we have mentioned to you, there are very important points as a mother. Take care of yourself. Take extra care as a single woman, okay? Improve your hygiene, as we said, and of course try to also make sure that you are connected with other people, that you're not on your own. Check all social media, and also look for the right groups. And as I really recommend you to go to African Mummies in Deutschland. They have a very good network where they talk everything and nothing, and I'm telling you, everything there is to be talked about in that group. So don't get shocked when you get some interesting topics. But I love them because it serves a different kind of people. And you have to be diverse also in your mindset. So go there with a mindful thought that you would be there. And as she said, contribute as much as possible. They have special groups as well, and reach out to her anytime if you want to need to know about that. And then also the other point that I would also want to emphasize here is that being single is not, it doesn't mean you're not able. Okay, if you're going through it in the beginning, it's tough, but it's gonna get easier for you in the new future. And we are not saying all of you go to single life. No, it's not as easy as it is, but it's a new phase of life. As every other life, you have to deal with it the way it is. Okay, and there are rules of survival for single women as much as for the married people. So reach out to Mame if you need any other question in regard to any support you need, information, because I know that situation when you're going single life, it's very, very depressive, but you can overcome it. There are already set structures, especially in Germany, where you can go to and that you can get support as well. So I think that was something we have really extended quite a lot. And as well, yes, stay at home. Kandogo is telling us, please stay at home, and also that we have a sign for it, Mame. You remember that's like a house. Yeah. It means.
Oh yeah. So I did this thing in Chi. So a video in Chi about staying at home. Yeah. Yes. Oh, also, we will try our best to link the domestic violence hotline for anybody who is going through that situation currently. Easy Favor says, African mummies in Deutschland.
Your friends are in the house. Thank you for that. Definitely. We love Mama Dinta for being, she does a lot of stuff. Right now, she's also doing YouTube. And check out on my YouTube. It's called, I Still Have to Get Used to My Name. Joy Comes in the Morning.
Joy Comes in the Morning.
And I'm working together with my boys also to get them out from this gaming so that they can also be part of and videoing. And it's not fun. It's been an argument. They don't have time for me, but I am still trying to get time from their time. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. And I really appreciate your time for this morning, that we had a good day. Those people who are having holiday, today is holidays. Have a good time. Share this video as much as possible. And I'll see you again tomorrow if you have time. Reach out to my page, go to my page. I've already posted it every Saturday. We meet on Zoom. So make sure you download Zoom. Get yourself ready for digital world as well. That's something else I always pitch as well. And thank you so, Mama. Thank you as well for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well. So thank you all, our listener, for joining. So that's the end of our show today. It got a little bit longer. It can be longer with Mama Dinta. The stories are always interesting as usual. So reach out on us. As I mentioned to you, our website is www.africanwomenineurope.eu, and you can always reach us on africanwomenineurope.eu info@africanwomenineurope.eu. If you want to reach us on any email, reach out to us as well. And we signing in is for free. Definitely, we share with you a lot of information. Check on your, we share newsletters like today we shared with you as well. Check on that as well. So I wish you all a lovely evening and a lovely weekend and holiday included, and share as much as possible. Let's reach another woman who is really trying to get in a single life, not being on their own. That's the whole idea here. So stay safe. And let's meet up with the next interview coming up shortly. Bye-bye for now.